Russia flew 8,000 missions to keep its army alive. Ukraine evacuated its largest aircraft the day the war began and never flew them again. And NATO moved an entire army across Europe using aircraft that never once landed in Ukraine. This is every transport aircraft used in the Ukraine war, starting off with Russia's fixed-wing transports, the aircraft that kept 376,000 troops and 132,000 tons of cargo, moving across the largest land war in Europe since World War II. Ilyushin YL-76MD. Russia's primary strategic transport, over 110 in service at the start of the war, conducted approximately 8,000 sorties between 2022 and 2023 alone. One was shot down near Belgorod in January 2024. Russia claimed it was carrying Ukrainian prisoners of war for exchange. The aircraft that Russia cannot fight this war without and cannot produce fast enough to replace its losses. Ilyushin Il-76MD-90A. Russia produced 7 new Il-76MD-90A aircraft in 2025, its highest annual output since the war began. Still far below the rate needed to sustain 4 new regiments Russia announced it was forming. The upgraded transport that Russia is building as fast as its sanctioned industry allows, which is not fast enough. Antonov and 124-100 Ruslan. Russia reactivated an An-124 from 25 years of storage in 2024, pulling it from a maintenance facility and returning it to service because operational losses had reduced the available fleet below what logistics demanded. The heaviest strategic transport in Russian service, brought back from the dead because the war required it. Antonov An-26, the tactical workhorse of Russian military logistics, twin-engine turboprop, carrying 5 tons of cargo to forward positions that larger aircraft cannot reach. Used for resupply, aeromedical evacuation, and parachute operations throughout the conflict. Both Russia and Ukraine lost examples on the first day of the war. Antonov An-12. Medium tactical transport keeping supplies moving to intermediate staging bases. Its 4 turboprop engines and rear loading ramp made it the bridge between the heavy strategic Il-76 and the lighter An-26 in Russia's logistics chain. Antonov An-72. Short-field tactical transport capable of operating from unprepared forward airstrips. Its distinctive overwing engines give it STOL performance that allows supply runs to positions where conventional transports cannot land. Ilyushin IL-78M, aerial refueling tanker modified for transport operations, extending the range of Russian aircraft conducting long-distance supply missions while simultaneously supporting combat aircraft requiring in-flight refueling over contested airspace. Ilyushin IL-78M-90A, upgraded tanker transport variant entering limited service during the war. Ukraine struck the Aviastar plant producing Il-76 MD-90A and servicing an 124 aircraft in March 2026, directly targeting Russia's ability to maintain and expand this fleet. Next up, Russia's transport helicopters. The aircraft that move troops and supplies where fixed-wing aircraft cannot go. Mi-8 MTV-5, Russia's primary medium transport helicopter, the aircraft that moves assault troops, supplies and casualties across the front lines simultaneously. Losses have been significant. Production replacements have kept the fleet operational. The most important rotary wing platform in the Russian inventory, and the one Ukraine has worked hardest to destroy. Mi-8 AMTSH, armed assault transport variant, carrying troops into contested landing zones while its own weapons suppress the defenses below. Used in the opening assault on Hostomel Airport in the first hours of the war. The helicopter that Russia believed would deliver a quick victory, and instead began a conflict that lasted years. Mi-17V5. Export variant operated alongside standard Mi-8 variants, externally similar, internally upgraded, gave Russian units a transport platform with better avionics and reliability than older Mi-8 variants without requiring crews to retrain on a completely different aircraft type. Mi-26 Halo, the heaviest helicopter in the world, capable of lifting 20 tons of cargo in a single internal or external load. Used for moving heavy equipment to forward positions where fixed-wing transport is impossible. A single Mi-26 can move what would require multiple lighter helicopters, making each one a strategic asset when lost. Mi-6. The older heavy-lift helicopter retained in service because the Mi-26 fleet is too small to meet all requirements. Its 1950s-era design still performing logistics missions in a 2025 war, because Russia needs every aircraft it can keep flying regardless of when it was designed. Kamov Kar-32. Utility helicopter used for logistics, search and rescue, and firefighting operations. Its coaxial rotor design gives it performance in confined spaces where conventional tail rotor helicopters struggle, used primarily in rear area logistics rather than frontline operations. If you're enjoying this, subscribe. Drop a comment. Which transport aircraft do you think has been most critical to this war? Bringing us to Ukraine's fixed-wing transports, the aircraft that kept the country supplied while fighting for its survival. Antonov, and 26, over 30 in Ukrainian service. The backbone of tactical air transport that has kept forward units supplied throughout the war. Used for logistical transport, aeromedical evacuation, parachute operations, and resupply. Ukraine lost one on the first day of the war. The rest have continued flying ever since. Antonov and 32, medium tactical transport carrying heavier loads than the An-26 over longer distances. Used alongside the An-26 fleet for cargo and medical evacuation missions that ground transport cannot safely conduct across a front line that stretches over 1,000 kilometers. Ilyushin, IL-76MD. 7 Ukrainian IL-76 were evacuated to Damblin Air Base in Poland on the first day of the invasion and have not been seen in operational service since. The aircraft that Ukraine couldn't risk losing, so it moved them beyond Russian reach immediately and left its tactical transport burden to smaller aircraft. Antonov and 124 Ruslin, the world's largest cargo aircraft, operated commercially by Antonov Airlines throughout the war to deliver military aid from Western nations. The civilian variant of a military transport keeping a country alive by carrying the weapons that its air force flies into battle. Antonov An-74, cold weather transport variant used in limited military logistics operations. Its performance in extreme conditions gave Ukraine options for supply missions that standard variants couldn't execute safely in winter conditions along the northern sections of the front. Antonov An-2, the biplane that refuses to become obsolete. Single-engine utility transport used for light cargo, liaison, and supply missions to positions that modern aircraft cannot reach without creating a radar signature that invites immediate attention. Its low speed and low altitude make it surprisingly difficult to detect and engage with systems optimized for faster targets. Now, Ukraine's transport helicopters, the aircraft keeping troops and casualties moving across a front line where no aircraft is safe. Mi-8. Nearly 60 Mi-8 medium-lift helicopters in Ukrainian service, the most prolific combat helicopter in the Ukrainian inventory. Used for assault, resupply, and medical evacuation simultaneously. Operating at night, at low altitude, and in weather that grounds everything else to avoid the air defenses that make daylight operations near the front line suicidal. Mi-8 MTV. Improved transport variant with better engines and avionics, used for the most demanding missions where the standard Mi-8's performance margins are insufficient. Ukrainian crews who fly it at night without lights through contested airspace have demonstrated a level of operational courage that defines the entire Ukrainian air effort. Mi-8 MSB. Ukrainian upgraded variant with Western avionics replacing Soviet systems, giving crews better situational awareness and navigation capability without requiring an entirely new airframe. The helicopter that shows how Ukraine has modernized Soviet-era equipment with Western technology throughout the war. Mi-2, light utility helicopter used for liaison, light cargo, and command transport missions, where a larger helicopter would be wasteful and a vehicle would be too slow or too exposed. the smallest rotary wing platform in the Ukrainian inventory, and the one most likely to be found doing the unglamorous work that keeps headquarters functional. Mi-26, heavy lift capability that Ukraine has used sparingly because each aircraft is irreplaceable. Moving equipment that nothing else can lift, including the recovery of damaged vehicles and the delivery of construction materials for fortifications that cannot be reached by road. And finally, NATO and Allied transport aircraft, the machines that moved an entire army's worth of equipment to Ukraine's borders without ever crossing them. Boeing C-17 Globemaster III, the primary strategic airlifter for the United States, United Kingdom, and multiple NATO allies, carrying main battle tanks, artillery systems, ammunition, and air defense equipment to Polish and Romanian staging bases, where Ukrainian crews collected them. Lockheed C-130J Hercules, the tactical airlifter that connected NATO staging bases to Ukrainian border crossings, delivering smaller loads with the flexibility and short-field performance that the C-17 cannot provide. Operated by the United States, United Kingdom, and multiple European NATO members simultaneously throughout the conflict. Airbus A400M Atlas, the European tactical and strategic transport that Germany, France, Spain, and Belgium used to deliver military aid from their own national stockpiles. Its combination of strategic range and tactical short-field performance made it the most versatile Western transport in the European logistics chain supporting Ukraine. Alenia C-27J Spartan, tactical transport operated by Italy, Greece, and Czech Republic, moving smaller loads to forward staging areas with the agility that larger aircraft cannot match. The aircraft that filled the gap between the massive C-17 and the tactical C-130 in multiple NATO members' contribution to the supply effort. Airbus A330 OMRTT, multi-role tanker transport, extending the range of NATO combat aircraft conducting operations in support of Ukrainian air defense, and moving bulk cargo and personnel across the Atlantic and within Europe as part of the sustained logistics effort that has kept Western support flowing for over 3 years.